Alright, now, Piccolo experiencing what it's like to not be treated like a monster. It started to change him. While he was training the kid, something in particular that happened really stuck out to him. And that was that Gohan didn't see this as being mistreated anymore. He didn't see this as being bullied. He saw what Piccolo was doing. The fact that he was trying to help him survive. He was trying to help everybody survive. And the fact is, Piccolo wasn't quite as bad as Piccolo himself wanted to believe. He felt that somewhere deep down he had to care on some level, or else he wouldn't be doing this. If anything, he'd let everyone else worry about it and then try to take advantage of the ensuing carnage. But also, it was just something that Gohan had said to him when they were training one day, when Piccolo had basically broken his own rules, and used a technique that he had promised he wasn't going to use. And he told him that, and when Gohan complained about it, he said that, so what if I did? You cannot trust your enemy, you cannot take your eyes off your enemy, you cannot. And it's something that Gohan said to him that did get to him. But you're not the enemy. Gohan didn't see him that way. This kid was getting to him because he was not seeing him the way that... This was going against everything that Piccolo had ever believed since his inception. That everybody hated him. That everybody was prejudging him. And it's not that he didn't give a lot of people a reason to. But, see, the thing is, Gohan wasn't judging him. He didn't know him. All he knew was stories. And he was seeing things that weren't living up to the stories of the evil monster he was supposed to be. And that was affecting his opinion of Piccolo. He was becoming his friend. He was bonding with him. Now, this was something that Piccolo was not used to. But it's something that's going to play a very big part in what's going to happen later. Alright, now moving on. Deadline approaching. Goku finally makes it to the end of Snake Way to train with the great King Kai. Now, King Kai is a legend. King Kai is one of the greatest martial arts masters in the universe, in that not necessarily due to his strength. It's due to his wisdom, it's due to his techniques that he's developed, the potential for their use. It was a matter of finding the right student who could do it. And when he met Goku, he finally found him. Goku had mastered the Kaioken. Goku managed to learn the Spirit Bomb. Goku mastered the ability to move under much more severe gravity than he was used to very quickly. And it was something about him made King Kai take a very vested interest in this guy's path, which is also going to be very important later. But, long story short, Goku learns all these techniques. He's specifically warned that there are certain things he cannot do with them. For example, his body has yet to develop beyond the point where he can use anything higher than a Kaioken times 2. Double it, basically. Because it'll put undue strain on his body and it could kill him if he goes any higher. Now, with this in mind, he's sent back to the Earth. And King Kai realizes that he forgot to account for the amount of time it would take to get to the end of Snake Way. He was only counting down until the Saiyans arrived. So even though Goku was wished back, Goku had to make it all the way back to the end of Snake Way. So Goku had to run as fast as he could. Meanwhile, the Saiyans have arrived. These two terrifying beings that made their deadliest enemy they had ever faced look weak by comparison. They show up, and just by raising up 2 fingers, wipe out half a city easily. This is an unprecedented level of power. They have never dealt with anything like this before. Excuse me. So, feeling this, everybody rushes to the scene. Piccolo and Gohan get there first, then Krillin gets there. And they meet up with the Saiyans. Now, curiously, the big guy, the really menacing looking one, Nappa, appears to be working for the smaller guy, which is Vegeta. Now, this has them confused because, traditionally speaking, the bigger guy would normally be considered to be the stronger guy, and thus wouldn't the strongest be given the orders. But, whatever. This is, they meet up with them. They figure they're going to basically play some games with them. They plant the Cybermen, and it turns out each and every one of these Cybermen is as strong as Raditz was. Now, this is a very interesting little element here, because this is going to gauge exactly, number one, how strong they are compared to Raditz. But it's also going to gauge how strong the other fighters have become. So, in their little game that they set up, Tien goes first, wins relatively easily. Next, Krillin was going to go, Yamcha cuts in front of him. Now, there's some problems when, first of all, the Cybermen who Tien beats real easily, because he didn't put up his best fight and Vegeta knows it, Vegeta kills him. No effort. Basically a flick of the wrist and the thing's dead. And again, this is as strong as the guy who seriously screwed them up and pretty much killed Goku. Goku had to die in order to fight. This is scary stuff. And it's also the carelessness. If anything, it was just an annoyance to have to waste the energy to do it. To kill him. Okay? Now, Yamcha goes next. And right here is where you know Yamcha's in some trouble, because Yamcha's actually struggling with this thing. He's still winning, sure, but he's having to put up a lot more effort. Now, Yamcha was always weaker than Tien, sure. That's a given. But Tien, I mean, he was at least within some sort of range of him. Tien's got the Cyberman beat in, 5 blows maybe, if even. Yamcha's going back and forth with this thing before he finally gets the upper hand and blasts the thing into the ground. All is well that ends well, you figure, right? No. Then the guy does something, frankly, kind of stupid. It's one thing that you're never supposed to do. Unless you are positive your enemy is dead, and he didn't even bother to check him, you never turn your back on him. And that's exactly what he did. And the thing latched onto him, self-destructed, and killed him. And there's their first casualty. So what happens? Krillin gets friggin' ticked off, fires off a blast that kills 3 of them instantly. Could have killed all of them instantly if the one had managed to duck into the rocks before his whizzed right by him. And it was actually somewhat impressive enough for the Saiyans that they felt the need to block, to guard it. Now, again, this is going to establish something, because this is a blast that was strong enough to kill these basically Raditzes with, a single hit. And it just slammed right into them. And they're not scratched. So while it shows that Krillin and Tien and everybody has come a long way, and even Piccolo, when he grabs the one that survived and blows it away like it's nothing too, it's nowhere near enough to deal with these guys. And now they are terrified, because now Nappa steps in. When he powers up, the ground starts shaking. Chaozu can't even focus enough to concentrate his telekinesis, and when he finally does get it working, it's not affecting him at all. He's too strong. It's freaky. And I mean, the guy actually had a glowing aura. It was very rare for a fighter to actually be able to produce an aura at that time. And I mean, the whole ground was shaking. They were utterly terrified. He decides that he's gonna fight Tien. Hits Tien 2 times, snaps his entire forearm right off. I mean, like, from here down, gone. Broke it right off. Chaozu takes all the energy he's got in his body, blows himself up, doesn't even scratch him. Only puts some scrapes in his armor. Piccolo, Krillin, and Gohan, they're supposed to be doing an attack on him. Gohan gets too scared, runs away. And this is also going to be important later. Which, of course, puts a hole in their plan. Piccolo and Krillin try to okay, you know, yada yada, we're just basically going on here. Tien unleashes a blast powerful enough that it blows away part of Nappa's armor, even doesn't hurt him. And it killed Tien in the process. Put everything he had into that one shot. Didn't even phase him. So now, we got Yamcha dead, Chaozu dead, Tien dead. Chaozu, already dead once, can't be wished back. Things aren't looking good. Piccolo, Krillin, and Gohan try to put up a good fight. Use some of the best strategies they got, some of which might have worked, could have worked, would have worked, had it not been for a few unfortunate things, such as these Saiyans being aware of the weakness of the tail and actually training themselves to lose it. Such as Vegeta basically watching Nappa's back. I mean, Nappa would have been dead a few times in that fight had Vegeta not been coaching him. They take a break in the fight for Goku to show up. Goku doesn't show up. They start fighting again. Goku's hurrying. Finally gets to the end of Snake Way. Kami teleports him back. He gets on the Nimbus Cloud, grabs the Sensu Bean, pops it in, starts heading toward the battle. Meanwhile, during the fight, things have gotten out of hand. Piccolo's severely injured. Krillin's been severely injured. Hit by a very nearly hit dead on by a blast. That itself was so bad he could barely move after that. And it's the exact same blast that then Piccolo freaking takes head on. Fired at Gohan. Piccolo gets in the way. This is something very interesting because Piccolo put the Demon King, the supposed symbol of evil, just gave up his life, put his life on the line to protect a kid. Because he was the first person to ever actually see him as something other than a monster. This same blast, you can tell how painful it was too. I mean, that, you just look at it. I mean, that was the same blast that over there, just almost getting hit by it. Just the shockwave from it was enough to break bones. And he takes it head on. And of course, here's another problem. When Piccolo gone, the Dragon Balls are gone too. Gohan, again displaying his rage, powers up for a very brief moment, long enough to fire off a blast that is strong enough to actually hurt Nappa, but he still deflected it. And it's gone again. Then Gohan figures he's dead, Krillin can't move, and just in the nick of time, Goku shows up. Happens to see his dead friends, sees that Piccolo's gone, knows the Dragon Balls are gone. So far as he knows, his friends that are laying there dead, they're gone for good. And after making sure that the two that are still alive are healed, decides that he's going to show his complete, total, and unfiltered rage to the two responsible. And that is for next time.